This is the Paltalk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
You know what? You guys crack me up. You really do. This is why I love my audience. I'm not kidding you. I walked in 30 seconds before airtime and somebody types in the room, "Oh, job interview run a little long, Gary, eh?" Thank you very much for that. Blowing my cover. News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of the Paltalk News Network. And syndicated by our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio to 12 million additional households. Paltalk being the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. See, I keep reminding myself, don't read the text. I grabbed a piece of licorice just before I went on the air to get a little sugar rush for the show, and when I read that, it kind of splattered out a little bit. I laughed so hard. Hey, how's everybody doing? A lot of really interesting stories on the Paltalk News Network and on the Twitter news feed that we have as well. Boaz Frankel, did you know that tomorrow morning at 7:30 New York time, those crazy guys in NASA are going to take a spaceship and they're going to crash it into the moon?
All I know about tomorrow morning at 7:30 New York time is that I'll be sleeping. But while I'm sleeping, NASA is conducting an experiment where they want to examine the moon's atmosphere. Well, they want to examine a plume of dust in the absence of the moon's atmosphere. The details of this experiment I don't have at hand right now, but I promise you that when I wake up, I'm certain that I'll have more to say about it.
Well, I have the details, and if you had read the front page of the Paltalk News Network today, you would have read it yourself. Basically, in 1999, they found concentrated hydrogen signatures detected in permanently shadowed craters at the lunar poles. They had a lunar prospector, I guess that's a rover, that discovered this. So now they're wondering, is there water in them there poles? So they're going to crash a spacecraft into, I believe it's the south pole of the moon. And then they're going to follow that with another spacecraft that's going to go through the plume that goes up and register what's in it, and then send that information back to Mother Earth before it also crashes into the lunar surface. And they say that if you have a halfway decent telescope, you'll be able to see the plume on the moon. And if that's not the title of a song, Plume on the Moon, then I'm not a lyricist, that's for sure. Isn't that a great one? Plume on the Moon.
Gary, could this be considered a terrorist act on the moon?
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said that it was the lunar Taliban that was doing it. No, it's not the lunar Taliban. It's NASA. So actually, it's very interesting what they're doing, and they're hoping to bring us some great data. The mayor of New York is an anti-handgun kind of guy. Now, typically mayors of big cities are, because they see so many people who are being killed by gunfire in their environs. And then people who live further away from cities tend to be supporters of guns and opponents of gun control. And then you have the whole fight over the Second Amendment that comes up every time that you're talking about this. Well, Mayor Bloomberg, the mayor of New York, sent out New York City investigators to a bunch of gun shows to prove, and he did, that there are loopholes in the law that allow for criminals to buy arms at gun shows. We're going to show you the video. This video was produced by the city of New York. Boaz, could you play the video, please?
Every weekend in almost every state in America, gun shows attract thousands of hunters, collectors, and gun enthusiasts. But they're not the only ones. Criminals are attracted to gun shows because of the loophole in federal law that allows them to avoid background checks. Federal law requires licensed firearms dealers to run background checks. But private unlicensed sellers who call themselves collectors don't have to run these checks. This gap in the law allows criminals to buy guns at gun shows without fear of detection. That's the gun show loophole, and it's one of the primary ways that illegal guns end up on our streets. According to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, 30% of illegally trafficked guns are connected to gun shows. To uncover this dangerous situation, New York City launched an investigation of illegal sales at gun shows. A team of experienced investigators using hidden cameras bought guns at 7 gun shows in 3 states.
You're not one of those licensed guys, are you?
No, cash and carry. Because we're not a dealer, this is a private party sale.
500 even?
While the law allows collectors and occasional sellers to sell guns without background checks, the investigation found that these private sellers are actually doing a very lucrative business. In some cases, selling hundreds of guns.
You're not one of those licensed guys, right?
We keep a nice selection. We have nice automatics. We got modern plastic guns. Glock at Springfield.
You sell a lot of these? Do you?
A lot.
Do you sell many of them? That's okay.
348.
How many?
348 since this time last year.
Even though so-called private sellers can sell guns without background checks, the law is clear. If a private seller has reason to believe the buyer can't pass a background check, it is illegal to go through with the sale.
I don't need your address.
So no background check?
Nothing. Just show me that you're from Ohio.
Okay. Well, that's good about the background check because I probably couldn't pass one.
I don't care.
Huh?
All I got to do is demand you show me your license.
You don't care about the background check,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
All right.
Because I wouldn't pass either, bud.
Is that right?
Unlike the seller you just saw, some private sellers abide by this law and will stop the sale.
You do background checks?
No.
That's good because I probably couldn't pass one.
Once you say that, then I'm kind of obligated not to. If you're basically telling me that you wouldn't pass a background check, then I wouldn't be allowed to.
Unfortunately, most of the private sellers approached by our investigators did not stop the sale. 19 out of 30 private sellers sold guns to investigators even when they said they probably couldn't pass a background check. The results confirm the worst. Criminals can easily avoid background checks and buy guns at gun